See what we got. See what we got. I don't know how well this works on this stream, so forgive me if it's not very good, but we're still going to get into it. Trying to pull myself up on this other channel, see what we can find. There we go. We got one in the chat. So I'm just going to get into it. I'm not going to wait for people to come in because I don't know if people will or not because it's a Saturday. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Hope everybody's doing fine. But what I wanted to go back over is a little bit of this needless drama that is happening with the recent departure of two moderators. I'm just going to start over. Friday, not this last Friday, the Friday before last, we lost 3 moderators. What's up, Reluctant? I'm touching back on some stuff, guys, about the stuff from we were talking about yesterday, because more stuff has kind of popped up. 2 mods let you down. 3 left. 3 left. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to create within our group chats, just for the moderators, they were trying to break off and create another one. And Mr. Burns and I said, you can't do that. We need everybody on the same page. And the analogy that we used yesterday was that you got to be able to have your whole team. If you watch football, your whole team has to be in the huddle. If you watch basketball at the timeouts, they're all in the huddle, the players that are going onto the field. So we got to be able to have that. And they didn't want that. We came to an agreement, which was going to be to recreate some new stuff. But all that said, this is not about Lindsay and her husband. But yesterday I mentioned his name because his name had been part of his title anyways. His full name was part of it. But Tara decided that she was going to make it a whole crusade. So she went out and posted some of my personal information. Now, personal information, what I'm talking to is things that could, if somebody wanted to, they could put enough pieces together to end up at my doorstep. That's a dangerous thing to do, and it lacks integrity. So that's what we're speaking to today, is the integrity to know sometimes when you just have to stop dealing with people, and the ability to say, we can do better without them. And this is not a slight, but until your actions, your content of your character shows. So when I addressed her, I said, hey, that's kind of, you're putting people in danger. She said, well, you did that to Snazzy and Linja. I will refer to them as Lindsay and her husband. But the difference is her husband had his full name as his title. Children don't. And there's a difference in that. And so what I got was a poem. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the song Stand from Eminem, where it says, this is from Tara to me. Venom your soul exudes as creeping and lush you move, duplicitous as day to night, faux angel in stolen light. Entangled, caught up in the strands, sun glistening, it bound my hands. Yet happily I sung your praise and blindly touted all your ways. Doctrine of brotherhood, movement, and common good. And then there's a part that I'm not going to read because it's personal information. No shame in knowing who you are. You hide behind the fallacy of self-esteem. Again, another part that's private to me. You're not a fighter, even if we call you Spider. So she's taking some direct shots, and that's fine. But let's get into this. Entangled, sun glistening, it bounds my hands. Like, you're not bound by anything. You have options, you have freedoms. This has nothing to do with me personally. This is a you thing. Guys, if you are stuck in a position or you're stuck in a rut in your life, that somebody else didn't put you there. You did. We are all our own choices. So let's see. Happily I sung your praise and blindly touted all your ways. Well, if you just fall into things without doing your research, I've never told anybody that they have to be a particular way. I've never told anybody I'm a particular way. What you see on the camera is who I am off of the camera, but we all have our gray areas as well. We're all humans. We're supposed to not just be a cut and paste of what is presented. A lot of what we do on camera is performance, but a lot of it is just naturally who we are. Debbie, hey, how you doing? How are you doing today? Let's see. Where is the part? No shame in knowing who you are. Well, I do know who I am. And the thing about it is, no worries about that. And no worries, I do know who I am. That's the thing. But when I create something like an impact or something else, and somebody else like a Tara comes to it, that's fine. I think a lot of people in our chat know who they are, but they can also use some help. And that's a good thing. I've been helped by many people too. But to point that out, there's the old analogy: when you point one finger, three point back. So a lot of times we are projecting more than we are reflecting. This is a moment for, rather than to strike out with angry poetry, to say, hey, maybe I got it wrong and this just isn't the place for me, which is kind of what Lindsay did. She just moved on, and I wish her well. You hide behind the fallacy of self-esteem, integrity. You're not a fighter. Why do you need mods? Your channel's small. I still see people with 20 with 1 to 3 moderators, because we had a massive explosion. And to what Mr. Burns pointed out yesterday, Reluctant, we have a rampant problem with racial comments being dropped in, and that wasn't my observation. That was Mr. Burns. So we have a lot to clean up. Maybe some other people don't have the luxury of not having that problem, but it does definitely do here. Debbie, I'm doing fantastic. So you're not a fighter, but like I've said, guys, the fight is within us every morning, every day when we get up. That's where our fight starts. Am I a combat artist? No. Am I going to fight with other people? No. I'm going to struggle and make my way through the world. We have to leave our houses, then we come back and return home at night and be the best person that we can for each person in our lives. And so there's no fallacy behind that. Sometimes we do lack in self-esteem. I don't think I really lack in integrity, but sometimes I've probably done some things that somebody else would have disagreed with. That is absolutely fine. But all of this written, it had pieces of, again, personal info that, again, puts other people that aren't putting themselves in front of a camera like I am. That calls into question a lot of character when it comes to that. Now, this is a lot of stuff that, again, I don't think a lot of people really care, but I think we would be remiss if we allowed it. And the reason that I'm getting back on and talking about this is because I was contacted by somebody who was in the chat this morning who said, did you know Tara is in your chat talking crazy? Now I'm working out. I'm doing, other things. You guys see how this goes. So it had to be brought because I tried to leave the bridge open. Hey, maybe we can, maybe it can be mended at some point. And that didn't seem to be the case. When you walk into a chat and you decide that you are going to be inflammatory, you decide you're going to make sarcastic or snarky remarks about what's going on, the same things that a week before you were upholding. There's a little bit of hypocrisy to that. And again, that's something that I feel should be addressed. So that's why we're here. That's why I'm talking to that today, because I think that it's a little bit crazy. So what was said in the chat today as we were getting our things together, as far as we had gotten the workout done, we'd done an extra 100 squats. We were doing some of the new subscriber push-ups, and we hit like a lull. We hit a lull. And I said, well, I'm going to do 20 more push-ups as we go anyway. Thank you so much. I'm going to go anyways. I'm going to do an extra 20 just because I want to have like 100 or 200 or 300 push-ups. I don't want to have 120 or 260. I like the even numbers. So at that point, Tara says, it sounds like Mr. Burns is being held hostage until Vincent gets the likes he wants. Check your pockets, everyone. Now, that may not sound overly sarcastic, but when you know people, it's more of a dig. And this person that sent me this says, it wasn't just that. She was saying other things, trying to put your personal information into the chat and the moderators were timing it out or deleting it. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at somebody with a lot of flaws when it comes to their ability to cope with a split, a break of any level. Now, there is nothing that was ever intimate or anything with us. I've never met this person in person, but I think that it still is worth speaking on because, guys, this is the same person who has liked and subscribed to a lot of you. So I need to get ahead of this. I need to be able to speak and give you receipts if need be. I have them. I can give receipts over something like this. A lot of you are just going to say it's just YouTube drama. It's a beef. I don't care. And I'm good with that. I'm not trying to convince anybody, but I would be remiss. I wouldn't be this person of lacking integrity if I just let it go and say, oh, they'll figure it out. Because it's not fair to you guys. It wasn't fair to some of our other moderators who were being coerced into trying to leave with them. It wasn't fair for them to have to figure that out in the aftermath. So I wanted to make sure that what I spoke to was going to at least give you guys a picture of kind of what we're up against. So I'm going to go back and I received that link. And I reached out and said, hey, public information isn't hard to obtain, so this isn't shocking. The only thing you do by putting my personal information into the public is to make it easier for people to find my children and family. As I'm not hard to find, consider this before acting. Thank you so much, Debbie. We'll get to it. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I know this is kind of like, but I do think it's important. So her response was, well, you doxed Spencer last night in your live. You knew all of their safety concerns and why they were using Snazzy and Linja. Did you consider the harm before that would come to them before doing so? Now, here's a very important point. What's up, Jay? Here's a very important point. Spencer, when he first came to our channel, used his full name. So the way I see Reluctant Gamer, I would see Spencer and his last name. The way I see Debbie, Spencer and his last name. Now, I didn't know that this person was the husband. Not until I don't know these people. I'm just, we brought them in as moderators. So my response was, so an eye for an eye is your retort rather than voice your concerns. Let's put more people in harm. His name was used by his own wife in the chats as well as others. I'm sure some of you would agree. Your crusade is quite misguided, and this is the end of my communication with you. And that's the last that I've heard because I've taken the measures not only to block from the channel, but to block from all of the other platforms that they might have contact. And I don't do this to be necessary. It's not to be petty. It's to be measured. And what you guys see with the workouts, when you see the consistency, the discipline, when you see our game plan, when you see we stick to what we say we're going to do, hopefully this is what you are taking from Impact and why you've come back, chosen to subscribe, become members. This is why. And sometimes measures like this don't sit well with people who aren't buttoned up themselves. And this isn't a shot at them. I've been in a position of life where I was not buttoned up myself. Amicus, looks like the drama escalated. Not really. I mean, it came to a point where I wasn't shocked that it did. Did I not say yesterday in the chat, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a rebuttal? And Debbie, yes, this is something we all need to know. Because again, these are the people that, again, I shouldn't say these are the people. This is a person. This singular person. This is more about Tara at this point. I haven't heard from Lindsay or Spencer. They've gone their own way. This is about somebody who decided on their own with no provocation and nothing. I hadn't even spoken to her. She decided because Spencer's name got brought up that she was going to put my personal information out there. Now, personal is kind of subjective because we could go look up anything we want to and probably find it if we dug enough. But do really of us care that much? Do we really care that much to try to go to those measures? That's a thing. And that's why I think that it's important for people to understand who this is that may have supported them, who may be in their chats, who may be leaving comments, maybe liking your content, or just trying to reach out with you. I had to cut her off in the chat because she was trying to connect with one of the people who wants to help with making Impact shirts. Guys, Impact shirts are on the way, so just bear with me. But I had to say, like, hey, Brian, just message me directly. So I filled in the moderators. We have a great team. Doxing someone is crossing the line. That's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not trying to, this isn't a petty thing. I don't want to go back and forth. There's better things that we all can be doing, but it is an important piece to what Impact has going on. So I've let the moderators know. I let John know. I've let Chanelica know. I've let Ms. Mitchell know. I've let both my girls know. I've let Mr. Nathaniel know. The best thing that we can do sometimes, guys, when we have issues like this is ring the alarm. Bring the village in, bring the tribe around so other people know what to do. This was not a, hey, this is what happened. You all, if you're all with me, if you're riding with me, you got to block that person. You got to unfriend them. It's not that. It's just, this is what happened, and the receipts are here to prove it. I can post it if need be. I don't want to have to get to that point. But Amicus, you're right. Doxing someone is crossing the line. And while trying to do it in the live, somebody had asked, you know, as you see a lot of times in the chats, hey, where are you from? Where are you working out at? Or where do you live? Whatever. And she's trying to answer it with my name and city. Now, maybe a lot of people have pieced it together already, but if they haven't, or if they just don't care, I'm not giving out free information when it comes to the people that are close around me, because I may have put a target on my back by putting my face in front of a camera, but my children haven't, my friends haven't, my family haven't. And I think a lot of people would understand that. So this is why I'm coming to you guys with this. So we've gone over what she said. We've gone over what my responses were. We've gone over my course of action. This is a very simple thing. But it's also a lesson. The same way we see with the trolls, people who do mean-spirited things, it's a very easy lesson to be able to say, walk away from it, but hold your receipts. Hold your receipts. This is really the last I need to really speak to it, because I've made all of these efforts to cut somebody off. Now, I believe Reluctant said you saw Ninja on another channel. Good. I hope that there's something for her out there. I hope there's something out there for her. I hope there's another format. And from what I understood, she's supposed to be trying to start her own stuff. Good on her. I hope Tara finds something that gives her some sort of cause or feeling or something, some purpose that is not just trying to be mean-spirited. This was an easy walk away for everybody. Like I said, not this last Friday, but the Friday prior. So we're talking about almost 8-9 days ago. That's when the split happened. And then there was a comment that was made by Linja like middle of the next week. And it included Impact and launching some casual observations or allegations. And so that's what Mr. Burns and I spoke to yesterday. And she created something else, because I keep hearing about it. She created something else and basically said she's done with the conversation as well. I have no problem being done with the conversation with her, but Tara decided she was going to be that friend who can't let it go. And this is why we have this conversation now. And I don't mind naming names, because these people didn't mind putting their names out there for us. So it's a simple thing, and we're going to move forward with it. I don't anticipate this being a continued drama. Thank you, Debbie. I don't anticipate this being an ongoing thing. I didn't want to do 1 day of it, much less 2 days of it. But here we are, and I still think that it's important. Jay Dang is right. Amicus, I mean, fallouts happen, but there is no need to make it toxic and to keep antagonizing. Yes, now this looks like it's getting personal, and I don't want it to be that. It was an easy thing just to say, and really Lindsay and I were the two that were talking, and what they wanted was a space for them to be able to chat on their own. Now, any of us who work at a job, if you have a company email or you have like company property or anything else, you use it for the company. You don't get to use it in a way that's just benefiting you or a couple of your coworkers, especially if you're a manager. Lindsay was placed in a position to be the moderator manager. And she decided that she was just going to take a couple of moderators and create this side group. Now, we don't do that here. Everybody needs to learn at the same rate so we can go into the chats and understand that we're all on the same page. And that wasn't happening. That's what Mr. Burns and I said. We have to put an end to this. We're all one team. Guys, if you don't know, impact, it makes people all come together. It's in the name. It's in the name. So I don't mean to be here bellowing or anything else. Hopefully this is of some use to you guys. I don't want it to necessarily change the scope. If you have a relationship with either one of these people and any one of these people, if it's a good, healthy one, that's fantastic. I want healthy relationships for everybody, but I also think that it's important to let people know exactly what was happening here, because if you heard whispers and then you didn't get a full answer, it may sit in your mind like, what actually happened with that? So it's easier sometimes just to get ahead, to be transparent and tell people what's been going on. So that's what's happened. We've had somebody who decided to leave, and that was fine. And then we had a couple other people who were in that grouping, so they went too. No harm, no foul. But once you start going back days later and bringing Impact's name into it, and then saying that we were limiting your creative freedoms, well, half of the stuff that you guys see, like the thumbnails and things like that, that came from their creative freedoms. The guidelines for the moderators, that was a complete effort done by Lindsay herself that I greenlighted because I wanted her to have a creative freedom. That what they wanted was to be able to talk in a gossipy circle under the Impact umbrella. That's something you do on your own email. That's something you do off of company property. That's all we were asking. What's going on, 5%? Amicus, those were the ground rules, and if they didn't abide to it, they knew what they did wasn't right, regardless of their intentions. I guess it goes against the philosophy of IAA, plain and simple. It absolutely does. And again, we allowed Linja to write that whole thing because she felt strongly about the direction that was happening with some of the moderators, Tara being one of them. And that's a shame because they don't realize, like, in a lot of ways we were aligned, in a lot of ways we weren't aligned, but we were working on it. Everybody was working on it. And like I've said multiple times, we're building this as we fly. I'm not the perfect, I don't even want to be called a boss. I'm not the perfect leader of all of this. Once the channel got monetized, it changed. And so it became something completely different. So now I had to let them know, once they were pushing back and saying, well, you're taking these things away. Correct, because my name is on the legal paperwork. My name is here. I'm the one who's responsible for it. So when I had to tell people, hey, Tara, you can't talk to a minor and tell her that you love her in this chat, I mean that, because that puts us all in jeopardy. If something happens to somebody's minor or these parents decide to complain about it, it's me that they come after. And that's the problem with that. All good. Thank you so much. 5%. Absolutely, guys. We appreciate you. So that's what we got. This isn't a long chat to be had. It's just one of those things that we, again, I'll speak kind of mainly for myself, but I think Mr. Burns would understand as well. This is what we needed to do. We need to do damage control. We need to do like some sort of spin on it. Now, look, Tara's only got 36 followers. That's not a big deal. But all it takes is 5 of the right people to see it. All it takes is one of the right person to see it and to keep that fire going. So what I'm trying to do is keep them private, keep them out of the way, and be able to have this talk with the people that you guys are like the shareholders. This is a shareholders meeting because you guys have invested your time, which is the most important thing, first and foremost, your time. We're not guaranteed time. So you are investing your time. Some of you have invested as in membership. Some are subscribers, but you have invested. So this is a shareholders. We owe you explanations when it comes to this. Perspective, what's going on? Amicus, wait, Tara actually told that to a minor? That's wild. Multiple times. Now, I can't pull up the receipts on that because I blocked her, so it takes out it erases your history. But what I do have, guys, is I have the email that I sent to her telling her that she can't do that. And it's timestamped. Like I said, I have receipts. I wouldn't just get up here and talk recklessly. That's not the point. And even that sort of stuff, it just goes to show why Linja wrote that manifesto in the first place. That shows why Lindsay wrote it, because I believe like section number 2 was specifically about how moderators and chat members interact. That was because of that. So here we go. So when you have that, and look, the same person, that same minor would come in and say that to me. I was like, hey, much love to everybody, but I'm not gonna say I love you too. I can't wait to meet you too. That's reckless. That's wild behavior. So this is where we're at. I don't have a whole lot on that. Reluctant says I'm back. And Reluctant, you bring up a good question. Debbie, you're very welcome. Reluctant, you bring up a good question. Why do we need moderators when there's people that have 4 times the amount of followers and don't? But like I said, and Mr. Burns pointed out yesterday, sometimes we get a different level of trolling. And multiple times, I'm sure some of you have seen where somebody will type N, I, G, G, E, R. That happens frequently. That happens quite frequently. Or somebody will make a comment about being a slave, or somebody will make a comment about, like, there's a lot of areas where it gets really nasty, and I've developed an immunity to it because I've heard it too many times. But I also need for everybody else to enjoy the chat, and for that not to be an issue, for that not to set other people off. Same way, if I were, if we had a woman on here and somebody just started making really nasty comments, we don't want that in the chat. So that's why we have the moderators. Amicus, bro, you have to vet your people thoroughly before modding them, because that's completely whack. You're absolutely right. And after we brought them in, that's what we started to do. We said, we need to be able to speak to you. We need for you to be able to have, a direct communication where we can speak with you and be able to see what you have going on and how we can be in direct contact on a regular basis. We're treating it not like a job, but like a very high level volunteer position. If you go to Habitat for Humanity to try to build houses for the day or something, you need good hammers, you need good lumber, you need a good crew around you. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So you are absolutely right, Amicus. Absolutely right. Reluctant says, I see that racism a lot on other account, and they still have more subs and less mods. You need elite mods. Okay, man. I'm glad that you're pointing that out, because I'm living in my own bubble. But what I do want is a clean chat. I do want a clean chat. So, hey, Spider, what's going on? Rooted, how you doing? How are you doing? Everyone in the chat, what's up, Chanelica? Guys, we're just going over some of the stuff that has transpired in the last like 12 hours. So, to Reluctant's point, yeah, I'm sure racism is very prevalent in a lot of other accounts that have more people, but sometimes you got to clean your house, and not worry about others. I can't worry about others. Now, Reluctant, I think you are chatting or moderating other channels. That's great experience. But we can only get who we get, and I can only control so much. So we're trying to build the best channel that we can. And that's for everybody, not just myself. But guys, even the allegation can wreak havoc. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be very careful with that. So, Chanelica, I left you a message, but we're talking about the Terra stuff. I don't mind going back over it. For some of you guys, it might just be minutia, but she sent me a poem today that included my personal information that could easily get people right to my front door if they wanted to put the breadcrumbs together. So she's out of line for that. Very out of line for that. And guys, whether you put something private, whatever, once you push send, it's in the internet forever. It can still be found. So you have to be very careful with that. And again, accusing of me not knowing who I am, things like that. But again, here you are following the impact ideologies that I built myself up on. So there's a lot of problematic stuff with what she was trying to say, that I lack self-esteem and integrity. Okay. I mean, we don't really know each other that well. So you started to show yourself in a pretty crazy light. I did reach out to her, and I said that, public information isn't hard to find, but what you do is you're putting other people in danger. And at that point, she said, well, you didn't mind doing it when you doxed Spencer. Now, I didn't dox anybody, because Spencer, with his last name, was how he was introduced to us on YouTube. So he had already put himself out there, as did his wife. So Lindsay and Spencer, I'm not knocking them, but once he changed his name, that was okay. But we can't say that I rooted for his private information. That's not what happened. So I responded because she was saying that I didn't care about their privacy. Well, you don't do an eye for an eye, not unless you're like really, really just kind of, twisted, especially when you're talking about children being involved potentially. So again, I responded, blocked her, and blocked her on all of the other platforms. But I do want to make sure that you guys are aware of this is who has subscribed to your channels. This is who may inbox you. This may be that person. So while it's nice to have the support, while it's nice to have a rapport with somebody that you feel that you got to be careful. And my thing is to get in front of it, get ahead of it, because if it continues to be said, then we have a bigger problem. So a lot of the things that were generated in the last day or so, yes, we're going to respond to. I think that we owe it to you guys, because again, you guys are the shareholders of Impact. Without it, I'm just here talking into a camera with nobody in the chat. You guys are what are building this up. Jay says that's a fact. Just getting that fire started can be dangerous. Absolutely. Rooted says that seems very childish and tit for tat and wrong in so many ways on her end. Right. Again, if you've ever been in charge of anything, whether you are a hall monitor in elementary school, whether you were a team captain playing sports, whether you're a manager at your job, whatever you are, ultimately, isn't there always somebody who just doesn't like your position? Either they want it or they want to push back against it as often as they can. And it happens. But when we really step back and look, for all the times people have called their bosses incompetent or overbearing, I was called controlling in this situation. Yes, I do have to take control because it got out of hand. And again, it's my name on it. It's my name on it at the end of the day. And I don't like pulling that card, but that's how it got here. And it's pretty unfortunate. Reluctant says, be careful with personal information. If you don't know their personal info, people change overnight. No, see, here's the thing. I didn't give the personal information away. That's the danger of what I'm bringing to you guys. Guys, I didn't say, hey, I live here and this is that and blah, blah, blah. No, that was what was in the poem this morning. She was letting me know this has what was the movie where the lady boiled the rabbit? Fatal Attraction. And I'm not saying she's attracted. I'm just saying it had that to it. It had suspense thriller. Like, wait a minute, how'd you get that information? But it's possible. That's what I'm talking about. Boogeyman, what's going on? That's what I'm talking about, Reluctant. 5% since I've been on this channel. The positive impact it has had on my mental health and fitness is priceless. The connection and respect is a two-way street. Thank you so much. And I hope this doesn't diminish from how you feel about the channel. I know that we get out there, we're jumping around, we're dancing, remixing, boom, 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 beatboxing and all that stuff. But this is what we got. And I just wanted to make sure that I at least reached out to some of you guys. Chanelica, do you have any thoughts on this as one of the moderators? I don't know if Chanelica's still in the chat, but if you do, that would be fantastic. I know that you guys have given, and we got Boogeyman is in the chat also as one of the moderators. But again, I've let the moderators know, and I want to let as many of our subscribers and members know as well. Chanelka is here. Chanelka, I'm sorry. You came in thinking, oh man, there's going to be something really awesome. And we're dealing with this for 2 days now. We're dealing with this. Amicus, she's letting you know she knows where you're at. That's a classic intimidation tactic. That's classic psycho behavior. Be very careful with this person. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I'm putting ring the alarm. Let the tribe know. Put as many eyes on it as possible. 5%. Her mask dropped, and thank you for facing the situation full on and openly. Let everyone have a view. Absolutely. Yes, when somebody will tell you and is trying to not only tell me personally, hey, I know where you're at. She was trying to put it in the chat this morning, trying to let other people know anywhere in the world, hey, this is where you can find him. This is where he's at. Now, may not have like a specific address, maybe. But when you're just willing to try to put something out like that, you have become a really unsavory type of person. And this has there's a lot of bad energy when it comes to that. Chanelka says, still can't believe the fallout. You guys seemed really close. We had a good working relationship. Absolutely. But when you start to want more things, and Chanelica, you weren't aware of this, neither were some of the other moderators, but they started a whole separate chat that excluded you and a few others. This is what we put a stop to. We said, you have to include everyone so they know exactly what is going on with the chat at all times. You can't just have people training you half of the time and then just saying, "Oh, you can figure it out," or we'll tell you when you need to know. That's not how we built things, and that was not part of the manifesto that was written. That wasn't part of any of the talks that we had. There was none of that. Tara seemed above all this drama. So sad. Yes. Rooted, a former moderator. We had 3 moderators, and they all departed, but it couldn't just be an amicable, we're just going to go away in our separate ways. It had to start with a public post that they'd moved on from Impact, and accused us of a couple things that it weren't crazy, but we still need to speak to it because our circles are not too far apart. So I'm not following their channels. I never did. But I'm getting other people telling me, do you know what's going on over there? Same thing with the chat. Somebody hit me up. Do you know what is being said in your chat? And I'm getting screenshots. That's why we're here. I remember the first time you modded Tara and Linda. Yeah, absolutely. Their mod status didn't last. No, because when you're trying to do more than the show, you can't. Nobody's bigger than the team. That's kind of the thing. And I still shout out my mods. I want everybody to give them the respect that they earned, because they have definitely come in on a volunteer basis and been very, very pleasant people. And that's a fantastic thing. But you can't be bigger than the program. You can't be bigger than the team. You can't be bigger than the company. It doesn't work that way. And once you start feeling that way and then say, well, I'm going to split because of creative differences, look, how's that worked out for a lot of rock stars? You remember David Lee Roth when he left Van Halen? How well did that work out for him? I don't wish anybody ill, but I'm just saying sometimes you just got to know your role. And I've been in the role that wasn't in front of everything. And it's okay. It's okay. We just got to play our role. Goat Farmer, why are you lying about the issue? You talk behind everybody's back and live. I can't be, because I'm right here in front of everybody. So I knew that you would pop out. So that's okay. That is okay. This is Tara's child, by the way. Oh, and Chanelica deleted him. Okay, so that's Tara's child, by the way. All right. Thank you, Goat Farmer, for popping up like we knew would happen. Guys, this is what I'm talking about. If you ever need a mod, I got you, fam. I'm good one without the drama. There we go. That's what we're talking about. That's what we are talking about. So, Goat Farmer outed themselves like we knew. Yeah, absolutely. I'm blocking you. Why do I need you here? You and your mother, or if Tara, if that's you, you've already had your say. So now it's my time to say. So, and you've got your own channel to say it on. So that's cool. No problem. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Reluctant. You can't make this up, right? You can't make this up. The roots rule of growth, anything. Stay in your lane, guys. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly I couldn't have scripted that. I could have had a paid actor and it wouldn't have came any better. So it is what it is. We got the sit down clown emoji. So they're going to come back and they're going to have all these things to say, but they're not going to have it to say here because, again, that was the final boss. I was searching for Goat Farmer. Couldn't find him. I knew if I went live, they would pop up. They can't help themselves. There we go. Amicus, that's crazy. She's like one of the crazy ex that just can't let go. Absolutely. Tara, don't bring drama, please. Vincent is a good dude who helps us all. Reluctant, do you see what I'm saying now? This is why we need mods. Amicus, she's crazy. Absolutely. This is like that when you think the killer is dead at the end and then they pop back up that one last time. This was that. You guys saw it in real time. I can't make it up. I can't make it up. So they can say what they want, but here's the deal. They're saying that I'm lying, but I have receipts right here. Everything that I've read to you is right here. It's all right here. I don't have to lie. No drama zone. Chanelica, absolutely. Energy feeders, yes, absolutely. The vampires. I don't have to lie. Not at all. And you notice the only person that is willing to still try to have this fight was the person who wasn't even in the initial split in the first place. Tara wanted to go, or Linja wanted to go and do more stuff on her own. That wasn't the issue. That was never an issue with us. We just stopped talking. Tara was the one who brought this fight back up. John, hey, Vincent, I like your channel. Sorry you have to put up with this. I appreciate that, John. And again, I didn't want to be doing this. I don't want to be doing this because I feel like it detracts from the channel, but I also feel like there's an integrity to be very transparent with the shareholders. You are the shareholders because I'm answering to you. When we get onto the channel, we are answering your questions. We are interacting with you. You guys are what's building this. It's not a one-person thing. It's not like a log cabin where I can just go do it by hand. It's taking a village, and we are rapidly closing in on 5,000 people. Reluctant, known you for a year. Absolutely. Trolls, come on out so we can block and move forward with the positive energy and vibes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And what does that tell you? If you were done with somebody, most of us in a normal state of mind would just stop talking about them. We would move on, and our lives we would just work to get better, and we would get over it. It's not like it's easy. Sometimes we have to lick our wounds, but we would get over it. But if you are still watching that person, we've all seen that. That's a dangerous place. John, I'm doing fantastic. You're a true, honest man for what I know. Vincent, my blad, thank you so much. It's unfortunate. But to Rooted's point, move forward with positive energy and vibes. That's what we're going to do. I was going to say I don't anticipate, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see yet another channel pop up where somebody's in the chat and saying I'm a liar or putting out my personal information. If you see it, call it out. That's all we can do. If you see it, call it out. And guys, if you still continue to see that and you're connected with that person, look twice. Because if they can do that to one person, they can absolutely do it to another. Now, your relationship may be different, where there's not like like I have a level of say so over what they were doing at Impact, but we gave them so much free reign, so much free reign. When you have positive energy in the light and the darkness, when you have positive energy and light, the darkness comes to dim the light. Absolutely, it does. Yes, absolutely it does. But we're going to keep shining. We're going to keep shining. We're going to keep moving on. I've got receipts. And really the part that is going to play out if we ever had to go to sworn testimony, which I'm just being facetious there. But we talked about what they wanted to be able to do was have all of this information. And I said, look, I need to build these secret rooms that you're having. I will give you some spaces, but everybody has to be involved in it. And it is intellectual property of Impact Athletics Association. I think everybody understands that concept. If you are building something for an entity that you are under their umbrella or under their service, then paid or not, you've agreed to push that over and say that's part of it. And they couldn't understand that. I said, well, it needs to be under Impact because if you happen to leave or say your channel gets taken down, we don't have access to it anymore. And they didn't understand that. And I just said, okay, it just has to be this way. As always, as I always say, if you don't have Haters, you're doing it wrong. There we go. Keep shining, keep grinding. Absolutely. And because they didn't understand intellectual properties, they thought that we were just trying to be overbearing and controlling. And how many people have said that about their bosses because they either didn't understand it or really didn't care to understand. So that's where we go with that. That's where we're going with that. But you saw it yourself. You saw it yourself. Goat farmer dropped in and then had the nerve to say, you're blocking me. Yes, we absolutely are blocking you. And so that is okay. No harm, no foul on my end. I hope that wasn't her child. I hope that wasn't her child just scrolling and got to see what was going on. Oh my goodness, this person is talking ill about my mother. Well, that's going to be a hard truth for you and your mother to have to deal with, because this isn't my thing. Happy life. I am doing fantastic. How are you doing today? Unfortunately, we had to revisit this whole part of the moderators leaving, the 3 moderators that left, some of the things that were said as early as today, some things that were being put into the chat that were trying to give out my personal information. So this is where we're at with it, guys. Do I think that this is just going to go away peacefully? No, but I also think that it also needs to have people brought up to speed. Again, you as the shareholders, if the company is losing money or there's something going on that's a detriment to the brand, you're well within your rights to know. 5% says, like a true warrior, you're doing the right thing and covering this so everyone knows your view. And I know that jealousy is a weapon of the weak, bro. Protect the hard work you and Mr. B have done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rooted, yes, this showing love. Amicus, betrayal always comes from someone that is close to you. Doxing you while knowing you are a family man is pure malice. Yep. You calling her out on her behavior early might be a blessing in disguise. Hopefully she can learn from it. And again, there were people who I spoke to that said, nope, we're gonna unfriend her. We're going to, get distance ourselves. I'm not asking people to do that, but hopefully it's just like leaving a bad Yelp review. Maybe if enough people who she trusts says, hey, that's really uncool. Like, you might be mad at this guy, but really that's an uncool thing to do. You're putting other people in jeopardy. That might be the wake up, because I think right now she looks at the water I'm trying to pour on her fire as gasoline. And that's just a way of not being able to see it through. You're being very emotionally erratic when it comes to that. Boogeyman says this channel is thriving and will continue with all this positive energy. Thank you so much. Happy life. I'm sorry to hear someone giving out your personal information. That's putting you in a bad position. Yes, you only need one bad apple who sees your information and comes to your house. That's what I'm talking about, guys. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying like I fill up the room when I walk into it, but I'm pretty much not hard to miss. I'm not a hard person to miss. So when you're talking about the description, the hair, everything else, I'm not hard to miss. So somebody wouldn't have to be very, have to search too hard. They could show up to a general area and probably pick me out. I'm going to send you a message on your short video later about YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much, Reluctant. Respect to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much, 5%. I think we've covered it. Guys, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this? I don't want to drag it on too long. We're still going to get ready for the workout here in a couple hours. Reluctant says we got to keep this channel thriving. Trolls and haters can kill the channel. We will react the correct way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Would love to have a lot of the people that are here right now as moderators, because I think you understand what we're talking about doing. We're not trying to blow trolls out of the water when they come in. Unless it's egregious. If they have something kind of crazy to say, we give them a second chance. We give them a second, third chance sometimes. You guys have seen, we flipped some trolls. I didn't expect to give birth to trolls. I didn't expect my actions to create trolls, but it happens as well. So it just is what it is. Chanelica, we will fly above all this. Absolutely. Reluctant says no questions about Tara and Linda. Yeah, the way that I look at it, Lindsay and Spencer have moved on. The one that is still stuck in all of this and feels like she has a place to pick up arms has been Tara. So, guys, you may come across my personal information. Now, I say personal because it's something I haven't given out personally, but it's still public information if you wanted to search something down. But at the end of the day, the analogy that I'm going to use is, how did we feel when we found out The Rock's real name? Oh my goodness, he's Dwayne Johnson. Guess what? His stock still rose. He's still maintained to be the person he is. And I'm not saying I'm big like that, but I'm just saying, what's in a name? If you enjoy the message, if you enjoy the channel, if you enjoy the content and you enjoy our interaction, the names and all that information is going to be something that you can look past and be able to say, you know what? Okay, I guess I know that, but I'm not going to worry about that because this is the person that I'm connected to. It's all just in the name. Vince controls the trolls all the time. We try to. Amicus, you did the right thing by blocking her and bring everyone attention to this. You learn from this and move forward stronger. Absolutely. And I wish them well, each one of them. I wish everybody well. Peace and progress is what I want for everybody. So with that being said, without any questions, guys, I really I don't want to hold you. Part of my feelings on health and fitness is to not sit in front of a screen for too long. So I've had you here for almost an hour. I don't want to keep going on with that. The energy mission for sure, guys. So we're going to be back at it. Are you guys ready for jumping jacks later? Jumping jacks and maybe some push-ups. Are you guys ready for more of that? We did the extra sets of squats this morning. Sending love from South Carolina. Thank you so much, Happy Life. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Yes, 5% is ready. Reluctant showing the love, guys. Look at all those emojis. Yeah. We'll get something in. We did extra squats this morning. We had a vote, and it was close about doing extra push-ups or squats, and the squats actually won. So nothing wrong with that. So we'll probably get a few extra push-ups in today, maybe another 100, do maybe 1,000 jumping jacks. I don't know. Let's figure out how we do that. Keep your energy positive, guys. Thank you so much, Chanelica. Jay says, for sure, 5% is ready. Guys, if you haven't seen 5%'s channel, check it out. He's got this really cool stuff. A few shorts, but it's cool stuff. I want to have people always be ready to support the next person within our community. So 5%, Jay, Reluctant, Chanelica, will you be in later or are you working? Chanelica is working in the medical industry, so give your shout outs because she is helping people's lives, helping people with their health. Amicus, yes, sir. We always ready. Amicus, will you be in later for the jumping jacks and possibly push-ups? What say you? We would love to have all of you guys and more, and we will continue to build this. I don't know exactly what our number is at. Okay, Chanelka, I appreciate you being here now. Hopefully you're not at lunch and spending your lunch here. 5%. Energy creates energy, bro, and we're all growing stronger together with a focused mindset. Absolutely. My one regret about this live is that potentially a child was brought into this. But that is also not of my doing. I don't let my children just run wild on social media. I do understand that she may have felt like this channel was a safe place, but the second she knew that she was going to start a problem, she should have removed her children from that. She should have told them first, hey guys, stop going to that channel. And she could have made up whatever she wanted to, but she allowed them to still wander outside in what I'm going to call a combat zone or an area of aggression. That was not my intent for that child to come across this. And that's going to be something that she's going to have to atone for as a parent. Yes, that is sad. Amicus, hey, sir, we're here to get physically, mentally, and spiritually stronger. That's the mission. Absolutely. Mind, body, and soul. I put a few more shorts on my channel today. I'm going to go check it out. Absolutely. Hit the subscribe button. Absolutely. No shame at all. Yeah. You're right. It's not for me to hold that weight. But it's still unfortunate. And I'm not judging anybody's parenting. I just know what I would have done, and I would have immediately removed my child from a possible area of conflict, whether that is physical combat or they had to read these things. That is dangerous. So it was spotted and taken care of. Yep. Yep. So guys, you might see a whole bunch of stuff about me, but you're not going to see anything crazy or, nothing salacious, but you just might come across it. So just be prepared. It's not shocking. Public information is free and it's accessible. That's just the world that we live in. So we're going to leave it at that. But without any questions, I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to let you guys get up out of here. I appreciate you're hearing me out. I appreciate you hearing what the channel has to offer, where we're going, what it's just been through, and what we're going to continue to do from here. So, Chanelica, much love to you as well. Guys, I hope this finds everybody in your place, pursuit or beginnings of mind, body, and soul. And please remember that your health and fitness are not the same, but if you align them. And when we talk about health, we're talking about emotional health as well. What we're seeing right now with a lot of this is a breakdown in emotional, psychological health. That's a problem. That's a real problem. So your health and fitness, and sometimes your fitness can help that health. So when you align those, you're not trolling. You're not doxing. You're not looking for other things to do with your time because you are focused on yourself. And like I was told that I'm not of integrity. I don't know who I am. Kind of feel comfortable with the skin I'm in. And are we always growing? Absolutely. But this is what we got. So guys, have a fantastic one, and we will see you very soon. And like we like to say, HWPO, that means hard work pays off. And this is not just me, not he, not she, but we. This is the Impact Athletics Association. Guys, you have an amazing day. And again, thank you for all of the support. Much love to you all. As a matter of fact, let me leave some show and love in here for all you guys. Let me leave some show and love. All right, Jay. Bam. All right, guys. Have a good one. And I'll see you probably in a couple hours now.